everyone, it's Shel from Paper Rock TO Studio. Today I'm sharing with you a page that I made for my Life 2017 journal. This is a group over on Facebook, and it has several YouTube creators who are offering prompts and lessons and challenges and all kinds of stuff. And I still haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do with this book. There's a lot going on, and not a lot of it. I don't know. There's too many things, and I can't decide what I'm going to do. I don't know if this is going to be more of a planner style. I don't know if it's going to be more of just a plain art journal or some type of an amalgamation amongst those things. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused, and I haven't worked on it much, but the prompt for the entire month of January was confetti, bubbles, and bling. And so I wanted to make a page that represented that prompt in what I thought of. The first thing I thought of when someone says bubbles is making bubbles with a bubble wand. I loved that as a child. I still love it. They're so pretty. They're iridescent, and they have different rainbow colors, and it's just a fun thing to do. A wedding I went to recently, excuse me, they handed out little teeny tiny bottles of bubbles to everyone. They were on a string. They were kind of like a little necklace or something. Had a teeny tiny little bottle of bubbles, and you could blow bubbles. It was really fun. So I decided to just make a page doing some drawing and watercolor, and that's all there is on this. It's not mixed media. It's just a watercolor painting. The book, there's a video of me making the book, and I can link that in the iCard above if I remember. It's made out of 140-pound cold press watercolor paper. So obviously good for watercoloring or mixed media, either way. So I decided to just draw a person, a female person, blowing bubbles, and then see where I got from that. So that's what I'm doing. I have my Pentel Graph Gear 1000 drafting pencil, which has a soft lead in it, a soft graphite, and I am drawing. You saw me have a lot of fits and starts. I haven't drawn for a while, and so getting the proportions correct, getting the hand, obviously. Hands are the bane of my existence. I really don't like to draw hands. They're so weird. I don't know why. They just are. But it took me a while to do the drawing, so a lot of this video is going to be me drawing. This is in an illustrative style, not realistic by any means. I'm not particularly good at drawing anything realistic, so but it gives you that idea of what it is because it's an illustration. So I don't have a lot to say about that. I don't know what I'm going to say. Maybe I'm going to be playing music in this video. Here we go, trying to draw this bottom hand. Yeah, it looks like it's broken. I do fix it eventually. Oh dear, her hand is broken. The bubbles that I chose to represent is that red plastic bottle with the long red plastic thing that went inside of it, and you would put it in, and then you'd take it out and blow the bubbles, and then you'd get bubble solution all over your hand, and you'd set it down on the ground and half the time spill it. So then your mom would have to make more with dishwashing soap. You know what I'm talking about. You remember, you guys all remember that, I bet. Maybe you don't. Maybe you never had bubbles, but they were fun. They were fun as a kid, and pretty and sparkly and blingy, and so a good thing to have on this page to represent confetti, bubbles, and bling. For this book, I did make one other page, and there's a link to that. I'll try to link that as well, for my intentions for the year. And then on the back of that, I ended up gluing some things in that I made through the month, and then a little tiny calendar, which I marked in color some dates. So it's not really a planner, but it's like a remembering what happened in the year, maybe. Tiny little calendar. And I just printed those out off of something on the web, and I cut them apart, and then I'm just keeping them in the pocket in the back of the journal. I showed you guys making the journal cover and everything. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to go with. Some different art that I made in the month. I put the Happy New Year tag that I made from tags from the desk in there, and I put my little ATC that I made with a little pocket that was talking about traveling, because one of the things I'm going to be doing this year a lot is traveling with my mother to different places. In fact, as you're watching this video, I'm not even at home. I'm in Branson, Missouri with my mother. She always wanted to go there, so we're going there. I don't know what we're doing at all, but we're going there for a week. So that's where I am. Yeah. So I decided to go ahead and do my usual drawing the outlines of things. I like the look of outlines. I just do. I could have just, watercolored it and called it good, but I decided to draw all the black lines. So I'm using my illustration pins, which come in different, oh, man, I'm yawning again. Sorry. They come in different widths, and I believe I'm using mainly the medium one, and then I'll use the fine tip for a few things. So it's nice to have line variation on illustrations. I didn't do it as much on this one as I sometimes do. Then I erased the graphite with my soft white eraser, and touching up a little bit. And once I was happy with that, I get out my watercolors. I used my travel watercolors from Koi. They're pretty decent quality, well pigmented watercolor. I did add in a little bit of graphite shading before I watercolored on just the skin part there by using that same soft graphite pencil and then rubbing it with my finger just to blend. I could have got out a tortillon or a blending stump or whatever you want to call it, but I didn't, because I just wasn't going to go crazy with it. I just did it a little bit. So this one is, how many colors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has got 18 colors in it. They have a new set that has a lot more colors, I think 30. But this is sufficient for me, and I sprayed them beforehand. Oh, well, I guess I just did it just now. But I like to spray them so that they're a little bit wet. And then I am using a watercolor brush that has the ability to hold a lot of water in it. High quality brush, and that makes a difference with this. It really does. You need your brush to be able to retain water up inside of it, and then it needs to be able to come to a very fine tip so you can get a thick line and a thin line. Basically really only need this brush. I do have a larger one. This is a size 14 synthetic sable brush, but I like it, and I use it more than I use the larger one. But it's not super small. You can obviously get them in smaller sizes, but since this comes to such a fine tip, I don't need a smaller one either. So it works out great. So when I watercolor, I hold a tissue in my hand, and when I want something lighter, I can blot. And when I want something, I've made a mistake, I can blot. And then if I really, really want to remove color, I can use clear water over the watercolor and then blot that up. So that's why you see that tissue in my hand. So I'm trying to add in highlights and shadows just using the watercolor. If you see me use acrylic paint or something like that, or crayons and things like that, I use multiple colors to add shadow and highlight. But in this case, I'm just, well, with the exception of the face, I'm just using mostly just one color. And dependent upon the variation of how much water is with the pigment is how light or dark it is. Does that make sense? So it seems more complicated when I talk about it than it actually is. I don't know. With the hair, I do add in several different colors in different areas. She's got kind of a mullet, I noticed as I was looking at this. Business in the front, party in the back. But yeah, it wasn't intended. She was supposed to just have bangs, but I guess the way the bangs came out over the ear, it kind of looks more like a mullet. You never know what's going to happen when you start to draw something. What you think is in your head is not what actually comes out ever. And so that's the first thing that you have to realize when you decide you want to draw, is that the way it looks in your head isn't how it's going to come out. And if you can just let go of that and let it be what it wants to be instead of trying to force it, you'll be a lot happier when you're drawing. And then other than that, the only thing I can recommend is to practice, practice, practice. Just draw everything and try to get your eye to see something and then duplicate it with your hand. The connection between the brain and the hand is really all there is to drawing. To really looking at something and seeing the shapes within it. Because our brain automatically processes what we see. We don't see it as a series of lines and circles and triangles and shapes. We look at it and we say, oh, that's a phone. Oh, that's a tree. We don't process it in the way that you need to in order to draw it. So once you can train your brain and your eye to see that it's really just a series of lines and shapes, then that's when you can start learning to draw. At least that's my take on it. I'm no professional. So once I had all the girl colored in, I decided to make a background, obviously. And I have a concept for how I'm going to represent the confetti. So I'm starting out with just like a green. You know, I've said this 1,000 times. I don't like things floating in space. It has to have a ground. It has to have something to stand on. So the girl's obviously standing in a park or something, or in her yard, or there's some nice greenery on the ground. Then I'm just doing a very, very, very light wash of blue color in the sky, just to help the bubbles come out a little bit. I am putting water first and then bleeding in the watercolor. In the case of this background. I didn't do that with the girl. I just went in with wet color on my brush. I didn't put the water down first and then put the colors into it, which is something you can do. Okay, for how I was going to try to represent the word confetti, I decided I was going to put brushos in the background. These are a highly pigmented crystal, and when you shake them, they have little bursts of color. It didn't come out quite as confetti as I wanted it to. I put water on it. I first put the water down, but it wasn't quite wet enough. So I decided I would spray it with my spray bottle, and then of course that makes the brushos bleed. And so it's not as spotty as I intended, but it looks cool anyway. Just different than what I'd actually thought I was going to get, you know? Again, you have expectations. They don't ever come out that way. But the brushes are fun. You can also just mix them with water and make a liquid watercolor. I could have painted the whole thing with just the brushos, but I guess I was thinking about watercolor and I got out this little koi set. So then for the bubbles, when you look at bubbles, you think, okay, that's clear, right? It's clear. But actually, if you can really look, they're just made up of multiple colors because they're representing the spectrum in the light that's coming down from the sun or whatever. And so they're reflecting all those different rainbow colors. So they're not actually clear at all. Really, they're iridescent, I guess. So I'm using my Posca metallics to try to represent what my eye can see of a bubble and hope that it looks somewhat like what a bubble looks like. Of course, I can't make a circle to save my life, so they could be a little bit more spherical than they are. They're kind of wonky, you know. So I add in several different metallic colors as well as the white Posca pen. And that's from a different set, the white. The metallic just has, I guess, 7 or 8 colors of different metallics. And when I'm finished drawing in my different colors, which were purple and blue and green, then I put some glitter glue on that has iridescent glitter in it. And then I use my other set of Posca pens, dark green and a light green and some white, to just fill in her eyes and add highlights with the white. If you're enjoying this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment so I know you were here, subscribe if you haven't already, share if you want to. All those things help out my channel a lot by you guys telling YouTube that you like what I'm doing, and then they can recommend it to someone else who might be interested in the same thing as you. So to finish up the page and add the bling, well, I guess the glitter was bling, I also have some shimmery metallic washi tape that I got from, I think from Eva LeVay Art's channel. We're doing a shimmer art collaboration, and so we each sent the other ones boxes of things that are shimmery, glimmery, glammy type stuff, and I believe that this came from her. Cool stuff. Glitter washi tape. It is a peel back kind, so I have to peel it off. That one I messed up, so I had to glue it down with glue. Somehow I peeled the sticky part right off it. I don't know how that happened. But that's all I'm going to do to finish up. Just in 2 corners, I'm adding some glitter tape, and then I'll be done with this page, and I'm going to put it back in my book. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.